Hey guys, welcome to Nerdcast where we nerd out about various topics. Today I have Pranit and Akash with me and we are going to discuss the rise of artificial intelligence.
So
So,
I guess we have to start with the most talked about AI system, which is ChatGPT.
hmm,
ChatGPT 3 to be exact.
4 ना
yeah,
या 3
नहीं अभी 3 है 4
अच्छा
आएगा अभी.
4
4
आएगा
आने वाला.
Yeah.
But
So we are actually recording this on a momentous day because today reach like it's the fastest uh, service to ever reach 100 million users within. So it
okay.
reached that within 3 months of
या
launch.
Plus, they
So
have now launched commercial things where they can have people pay for them, which
yeah.
is also useful.
Yeah. So even last month itself only I was discussing with Pranit about it. Ki the evolution of ChatGPT and considering the amount of money that Microsoft had invested into OpenAI, which is the holding company behind ChatGPT. So it had invested around $1 billion in 2019 itself, and it has continued to renew that with another $1 billion, I guess, something like that again. So I was discussing with him how this could be the backend behind Bing and other Microsoft services, and it can actually bring an evolution in terms of what Microsoft services has been stagnating behind in. So Bing and Cortana, they are services that Microsoft gave, but nobody uses unless you are starting a new Windows laptop for the first time.
हाँ,
Apart from
तो
that, you
setup
never use
उसके बाद
Bing
तो
again,
कोई.
and you never use Cortana. Cortana starting में disable कर देते, like no one I know has ever used Cortana on their laptop,
like
right?
we used to use it first, but it was not.
And that was again for comparing Google and
Yeah, like the
Siri.
Yeah.
assistant and Siri, right?
Yeah.
या मतलब कॉर्टेना तो मतलब अब रेत में इतना पीछे है कि एमकेबीएचडी के लेटेस्ट वीडियो में द कंपैरिजन बिटवीन द एआई कॉर्टेना था ही नहीं. इट वाज
Yeah, it
जस्ट
was never
फोर
there.
मेजर असिस्टेंट्स कि गूगल
मैंने यूज
सिरी
करके भी मैं
एलेक्सा
आई
एंड
गेस
डिक्सी.
द लास्ट लैपटॉप आई सेटअप वाज इन 2014, द लास्ट विंडोज सेटअप.
Hmm.
एंड 14 के बाद कोर्टाना वापस कभी देखा भी नहीं है मैंने.
या so
But
I
that's
think with the rise of ChatGPT, maybe they can actually utilize this to a much better way. So
yeah.
and they have actually started doing that because Microsoft Teams mein they have finally integrated that. So if you are an enterprise customer, you can actually pay $7 a month for this premium, which actually provides you minutes of the meetings and notes and like all of these features. They have integrated that within
Yeah.
Teams itself. The next step that I can actually say about what Microsoft can actually look forward with ChatGPT is integrating it with Microsoft Office suite. So
Yeah, that
simple
would
things
be the
like,
biggest. Yeah.
yeah, it's like if you're opening an Excel sheet and like if you have opened that you have the raw data, you can just ask ChatGPT what formula should I use to create these such and such pivot tables or such and such graph, and it will just give you the steps of formulas and maybe you can just directly click and automate all of these steps.
Or he can like chat GPT in more advanced. You can say that in future it can create a PPT based on the data you give it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That create a
Not even
PowerPoint.
data that you need, just a topic, and
Yeah,
uh, you create a PPT, and that's
yeah.
it will give you a huge PPT with all the data that
Yeah.
is taken by himself.
Yeah.
When I was talking with Guru, like last time we had a discussion about it, like I came to the understanding that they have like data from 200,
Till 2019.
19 or 20, I think, na?
20
Yeah, yeah,
2020 से
20.
जस्ट पहले या
20.
कोविड से
So
पहले तक का था.
yeah, so if they have like this immense amount of data and the amount of work they have done in this like last 3 years, this is exactly the result
Yes.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like when it comes to like ML and AI, you need to be sure about like what kind of data you're gonna use and in what
yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. So I
And
think ChatGPT 4.0 is actually working on that to have like latest data
yeah,
included. So maybe it can actually work with Bing and use their algorithms, कि वहां से जो भी पेज रैंक का information है, it can utilize that within its own database. Uh, but अगर हम AI की बात करें तो another step that comes in mind is also game creation. So
yeah,
there was this what you call there was a developer that like saw a thread about, like he basically just created an AI which uses the Unreal Engine to create the open world. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI से मतलब तो AI को just AI has an idea कि open world कैसा होना है, and it can just expand upon that. So maybe a more expansive open world, something like कि अगर हम बचपन में we used to play like games like Motocross Madness or something, उसका open world used to be limited, like वो
Yeah.
created होता था, it used to be like something we are just exploring, but एक बार हमने अच्छे से देख लिया तो we knew कि कहाँ पर क्या है. Or
Basically, it
GTA, like the
was
city was big.
semi-open world, right?
Yeah,
Semi-open world,
semi-open
not.
world. But what we can expect is कि infinitesimal open world, कि based on what it knows कि अभी तुमने कहाँ घूम कर आए हो, what you have enjoyed, and if you want like a new desert-like world, it can create like
Yeah.
something new, completely unexpected, and then you can just
And
have a new playing field.
it
Yeah.
it is not just for that, like even if you have an idea, from an idea to a company or basically anything it can create. So like एक बंदा था जिसने किया है कि get me 10 new ideas that haven't been posted on App Store.
Yeah.
It gave 10 ideas. He
Yeah.
said, okay, give me a code for the second idea. It gave it the code. Tell me the steps to publish this app. वो
Yeah.
ऐप पब्लिश करने के लिए. Tell me how to earn through this app. तो उसने पूरा प्रोसेस करके he established that app and it is making money for him.
Yeah.
So it is just कि तुम्हें कितना पता है, कितना क्या पूछना है उसको.
Yeah.
If that you know, तो फिर there's endless limits.
It's basically like कि तुमको क्या, like when it comes to coding and all that, like तुमको क्या problem है and तुमको क्या search करना है
हाँ.
Google पे. It's basically that. It will just provide you the
Yeah.
most accurate solution, right?
Yeah.
Instead of
Someone
just
else
तो
also did this.
GitHub का कोड कॉपी करने से बेटर है ये कि वो जस्ट ऐड ऑन कि क्या एग्जैक्ट स्पेसिफिक क्या चाहिए,
yeah,
क्या
exactly.
चाहिए.
पूरा दे देगा.
Yeah, and another thing that someone did was I think Luke told about it on his van show that he basically कुछ code का snippet जो नहीं चल रहा था, like they were like showing some errors, he
Fix
basically
this
just
code.
copied that code into it and asked it for debugging it. तो it just told कि ये error है, इसको ऐसे ठीक कर लो, and उसके बाद algorithm ठीक हो जाएगा.
Yeah.
Like it can help, like, if you know how to utilize this tool. It's a very effective tool towards making your work more productive, like smoothing out all of these little humps that you get during if you are
And basically
developing
it
something.
has a lot of things that you, so let's say you don't know coding, तो कुछ भी अगर let's say वेबसाइट डेवलप करना है, तेरा खुद का एक ब्यूटी पार्लर है, ब्यूटी पार्लर के एक वेबसाइट डिजाइन करना है, यू हैव नो ब्लडी क्लू किसको जाके मिलना है, क्या करना है.
exactly.
बस चैट जीपीटी पे डालो कि मुझे ये वेबसाइट बनाना है, इट विल गिव यू स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस और कोड के साथ.
Yeah.
फिर करने की जरूरत ही नहीं बाकी कुछ. सो दिस ऑल्सो देयर इज ऑल्सो अ थ्रेट ऑफ लूजिंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट हियर.
Yeah, you
अगर
can
तुम
say that.
लोग, और एंड ऑल्सो एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ने की भी ये है कि इफ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू यूज चैट जीपीटी,
Yeah.
तो फिर उनको कंसल्ट करके यू हैव अ ह्यूज इंडस्ट्री इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू टू.
AI has always potential to replace humans, okay?
Yeah.
But still there is, when I am going through the courses and all that, there is still this thing known as, the machines can do errors.
Yeah,
Like
the Turing test.
the humans need to like tell machine like,
Supervise it.
okay, yeah, maybe you can say that supervise it, or you just have to feed the right amount of data to them. Like, okay, or maybe machines are also like, they can eliminate or minimize, you can say, the human error in the industry. Like मैकेनिकल या प्रोडक्शन बोलते हैं अपन उसको, प्रोडक्शन, वो चीज़ों पे मे बी ह्यूमंस की वजह से ज़्यादा प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट बढ़ सकता है बिकॉज ऑफ सम माइनर एरर. सो मे बी दिस एआई एंड like, okay, this is chat GPT is different, but let's say something that OpenAI also creates that like applies to the production industry so that it minimizes that error. So that would be like a very good thing.
Yeah, but
And
I know कि we say that there are chances of कि employment being replaced. तो जब मैं एक example दूंगा कि every company right now is on a firing spree right now. We have seen like Microsoft से लेकर Amazon से लेकर सब lay off कर रहे हैं. But if you look at LinkedIn or if you looked at any of these companies website, they are still hiring an amount of employees. So it's like shifting in the direction
that is
that is happening. Like there's a shift in the industry that is happening. So there are two things that happened basically. एक तो था कि जो post COVID expectation जो थी, which is another discussion that we can have later on, कि people expected the growth to be constant, like the growth to be the same as what they found during the COVID time, especially in the tech sector and all of these. Like उनको लगा, but obviously एक बार offline हुआ तो people will shift back to online,
Yeah.
especially in tech. तो वहां पर तो ये चीज हुई. But another thing that happened is with the advent of AI, a lot of employment, like a lot of employees were redundant in that term. कि अब उसी काम को करने के लिए 5 लोग की जरूरत नहीं है, जो 3 लोगों की टीम कर सकती है वो सेम काम, बिकॉज बाकी एआई कैन हेल्प इन पुशिंग टुवर्ड. तो जो बाकी 2 है, देन फॉर देम इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू फाइंड अ वे टू स्विच टू समथिंग लाइक यहीं पर हम स्किल डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं कि व्हेन वी आर वर्किंग इन स्पेशली इन द टेक सेक्टर, इट्स नॉट लाइक वी आर जस्ट कॉन्स्टेंटली वर्किंग थ्रू द सेम लाइंस ऑफ कोड एवरी डे. लाइक वी आर आल्सो कि अगर हम सी प्लस प्लस में काम कर रहे हैं, मे बी वी सॉ कि जैसे 2014 की जब स्विफ्ट प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज लॉन्च हुई थी, अगर उस टाइम पे कोई बंदे ने बोला चलो ठीक है मैं रोज आधा घंटा स्विफ्ट भी देख लेता हूँ कि कैसे चलता है ऑल ऑफ दैट, राइट नाउ दे मस्ट हैव लाइक मतलब दैट पर्सन वुड बी एम्प्लॉयड in any other company that needs a better Apple app, like it's an easy way. So the point is upskilling constant रखो तो AI से वो रिप्लेसमेंट वाला पॉइंट नहीं आएगा. बट हाँ, अब तुम वही सेम C++ कोड पे काम कर रहे हो, you're not upskilled yourself in the last 3 to 4 years, then कि जो तुम काम कर रहे हो that would be redundant, like it can be taken over.
And when we are talking about AI, we can like also say that like developing, let's say, chat GPT or any like we like see this gimmick, or you can say apps that create images just based on the words, right? Doing
that is,
those
yeah,
those are not
double
like
decision.
easy task, okay?
Yeah.
Like they take, it's like a very huge trial and error process.
Yeah.
Like there is a certain amount of data, okay, well, one algorithm will go here, okay, it's not working, second algorithm, okay, the second algorithm is giving you something that is great, but in the end of the result it is like something is going wrong. So like you have to get that result, like 70-80% result, and then feed it to another neural network and all that stuff. Like it is a very very huge process, and like they did it in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So that is a
This will create opportunity, obviously, because creating something like DALI 2 or something as such, तो वो ऐसा you have to have a huge team with you ना. It is not like कि बस वो खुद से ही, मतलब AI एक AI दूसरा AI नहीं बना सकता, और मे भी बना सकता है, we still
टर्मिनेटर ही स्काईनेट नहीं, क्या स्काईनेट ही जेनेसिस है.
You can say that it requires huge team, but also a small set of people, like chat, the OpenAI is consider, I think, 120 or 100 employees or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
it's a pretty small team.
Yeah. So it's not like based on the manpower, but it's like how like a group of 100 people can work on something that can create like very crazy things.
Basically, those 100 people are working towards the whole world. अभी तो वो if let's say AI takes over the 50% of the work of the whole world. So those 100 people are just the 100 people are working for the 50% of the world.
इतना होगा नहीं, बट इट्स अ वेरी बहुत
हाँ,
लंबा
मतलब
लॉन्ग शॉट.
I'm just speculating कि 50% होगा, but if 50% is there, 100 people can be working for just like 3.5 billion people, which is a huge number. Huge मतलब बहुत क्या गया.
मतलब या तो बट इट्स वही मैंने बोला कि लॉन्ग शॉट है, बिकॉज it's only what 2 to 3% of the employment in the world which is like completely IT based.
Yeah.
So majority of the employment is still manpower based. So I'm talking about, lekin even that is a lot, that is what 200-300 million people that job can replace. But yeah, again it's again about how you can
just a matter of time.
introduce AI to your job.
नहीं, it is just a matter of time कि कब तक तुम लोग स्मार्ट हो गए. अभी now the smartphone industry in back in 2004-3 जब हाई नहीं, स्मार्टफोन I guess 6-7 में आया था. So at that point the industry is very slow growing. Now it is so highly integrated towards, let's say, just India, कि उसमें I guess about 70-80% people in India have smartphones.
Maybe more, I
about
think.
80 जो भी है. More than that, obviously मैं खुद दो फोन यूज कर रहा हूँ. And that way अगर phone sold अगर देखा जाए तो it is more than about our population.
Yeah, easily.
Every तो उतना तो ये मतलब वो grow होने के लिए in 10 years and next 10 years or 20 years if the phone industry has grown so much
Yeah.
आगे 10 साल में तो you can see leaps and leaps ahead.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
Apple alone has currently 2 billion active devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, there are obviously not 2 billion people who are using Apple devices. It's
Yeah.
obviously just 1% using multiple, and then that
Yeah.
multiplies a lot. So yeah. So anyway, this was our discussion on the rise of AI, and let's see what happens in the future. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next episode.